we're going to be watching VortiX up against 3DB. And we're starting this one off with an interesting matchup, Myriad. We're going to be moving over to Gorge and China for VortiX up against the Ruse from B. And I gotta say, I feel like this matchup is downright doomed to the core for China. I think, like, Ruse against China and GG, so good. So good.
I think I would definitely agree that it used to be very one-sided for Rus before they got a few shaves here and there and China and Jushi really came through. Nowadays, it's definitely not bad for Rus. I think they're one of the civs that can... China especially. I mean, Jushi's also really strong, but China is the big boogeyman, right? Rus can do pretty decently against both of these civs. I would still give the slight edge over to China here, maybe like a 55-45. What I find... Yeah, I think it comes down to a bit of a comp issue in Castle Age. I feel like too many players, especially sort of around the top 16 mark or so, are very adamant on going for a lot of knights and archers as China here, and that works fine early on. But as the horse archer numbers climb, as Boyars comes in for Rus's own knights, that's just not a composition that's ever going to work there. I feel like if you make a transition into something like, you know, if the Rus is making those horse archers as well as those knights early on, moving into horsemen and crossbows as China here is a very cheap, effective composition that I think can really let you take some great fights around the map.
Now, I like that part of your thinking there, but just to counterplay, Rus can also make horsemen, and they still have Boyar's Fortitude, but we're about to see just how exactly it is going to get played out as we're moving right into our game number 1 now between VortiX in the color red playing as the Chinese and B in the color green playing as the Rus here. And Gorge is an interesting map, especially since we are playing on the EGC variant here. So this isn't quite like the Gorge that players are used to from seeing it on ladder. The deer, or well, not the deer, but rather the sheep spread is a little bit different here. It's more centered towards the sides here. VortiX, he got a couple of early sheep there with his Chinese large vision scout there. Able to take some away here from the bottom side there, bottom right-hand side from B.
Yeah, one of the understated reasons that Chinese is so strong, right? That extra vision. Like even now, it doesn't get talked about enough. It's so good. Especially against a civ like Rus, right? If you end up seeing their first scout early and they don't see yours, you can probably predict where their second scout will then go and cut them off and get at least half the sheep on the map that way, despite being down a scout.
So much information gained early on as well, and especially since you already know that the Rus are going to be having more scouts out on the field, your one scout just having so much more vision, it is very, very valuable there for you.
I mean, he sees the whole screen, you know, earlier on, before we jumped into the 4-view. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. B sticking with 2 scouts here, which I do like, right? Maybe on some maps, if you really manage to see the enemy scout early and isolate their movement, you can get a lot of value out of 3 and get yourself a handful of few extra sheep. But as you mentioned, with the way sheep spawn here on Gorge, the center is pretty much dead sheep-wise, so it makes it very easy to split the map with the scouts, and you can get a lot out of 2 here still, but 3, you know, it's just kind of just lays your age up, which there's no need to do here, and you can easily produce him either while you're raging up or after you get that pro scout tech.
He has put his hunting cabins on the sides of the woodline, so he's kind of min-maxing the amount of gold income that he's getting from those 2 hunting cabins. Also means that he's going to have a very nice spot for the high trade house there behind the space, which doesn't take away from the gold from the hunting cabin, so he's setting himself up for a nicely condensed space there in the back of his TC. I was also put forward, so isn't going to be blocking anything out there. Setting himself up for success, at least in that regard. Golden Gate also coming up. Age up already finished for VortiX. We're now going to be seeing those Imperial officials coming out for him. Now the question here is, if you're VortiX, are you immediately going to be going for your own Pro Scouts play? Are you just going to go straight for the stable and try and get as many scouts out as possible? Or are you first going to be investing into barracks and try and disrupt your opponent from getting the Pro Scout in? That's like always the question that I'm wondering.
There's a lot of options here for China, right? All of those that you mentioned, and then the level of investment into officials as well. How many do you get before going for that pro scouts? You can get taxes and supervise easier, but less gold means delay on those pro scouts. So looks like we have at least 2 being invested into. The third one is also on the way, so definitely a more slightly economic focused approach here from VortiX. Not what we're too used to seeing from him, historically at least. He's going to go for plenty of officials before going for that pro scouts. I mean, China can get a way faster timing than the Rus, but typically there's a bit of a bottleneck in terms of wood and supervising the stable and having it even up in the first place fast enough to actually get enough scouts on the field. You often end up in a situation where you have pro scouts finished, but your stable is only just finished. You don't even have a second scout on the field yet, and you want to get the deer in, but you also want to see what the Rus is doing on the other side, so Vortex is going to say no to that and just make sure he gets maximal value from his investments here. Whereas B, on the other hand, we saw him go aging up just a little bit faster than standard, aging up with 5 instead of the 4. And doesn't have pro scouts yet, does he?
No, he's getting it in at the moment. The tags are reversed at the moment. You can always tell, by the upgrade bar. Yeah, it's green, so it's on B side. Vortex, though, he's also going to be getting his upgrade in rather soon, and we're also seeing a stable coming in from him. So it's not going to be a barracks on his side. He's not going to be moving in to do any sort of real denial here from B when it comes to the pro scouting. Instead, just trying to focus on rushing up his own pro scouts and getting a very similar timing, which he should be able to achieve, just courtesy of the supervision here, of course, being really beneficial when it comes to catching up with the timing here.
One of the reasons China does it so potently indeed, right there. And on maps like this, these sort of standard maps with his 14 deer aside split between 2 packs, most often what we see is relatively controlled early game from both sides. That pro scout here, it's going to be 14 deer aside most likely. I'd be quite surprised to see either side manage to steal any from under their nose. It's very easy to see the scouts are slow to go across the map, not only there but then back even slower in turn. There's going to be a barracks here from Vortex, it turns out, so he's going to look to put on a little bit of pressure.
Reach out again to our production cow, who is working tirelessly in the background, bringing you guys all these amazing features on the overlay, as we do have a little Golden Gate counter in the top right as well, telling us that he has 2 tickets available in the Golden Gate to exchange for resource, and also the amount of Rus bounty already collected so far from his villagers. So already gathered 200 gold just completely passively from just gathering food with his villagers underneath his TC. So scout on scout fight here going on at the moment, but he's already just gathering up most of the deer on his side of the base, and honestly, when the deer are split 50-50 between Rus and Chinese, the Rus player has to be super happy with that result, because once that high trade house kicks in, you're continuously be spawning in those deer time and time again, meaning that when both players have the same amount of deer collected underneath their TC, the Rus player is still gonna be having a lot more food safely inside of their base, so they'll be essentially pulling ahead when everything's even.
That's true. There will be additional deer to go through that high trade house for the Rus, of course. And it's especially true to have even deer split when you invest in very little army, as B has done. We do see an archery range, but it's somewhat delayed, so I think B was a bit unsure whether to go for it in the first place, but looks to have made his decision now. Because typically when you go for this many scouts as Rus, you kind of want to just skip units, get your deer back ASAP, and go castle age as fast as possible. But it looks like B does go for the archers on a delay, just to make sure this home deer back of his gets back safely, because some of his scouts were trying to stay the deer from Vortex's side, which means that these are home later, and that in turn means that a couple of archers here will be necessary. Vortex, though, as we mentioned, even there does somewhat favor B for sure. The 20% extra drop-off right from the official kind of really works in China's favor there as well. So offsets some of the deer from that high trade house. Such a potent bonus for the Chinese and Xuxi, but especially for the Chinese, of course. The Imperial Palace now being dropped down.
Yeah, that's kind of typical, I feel like, in this matchup, that when both players just go for pro scouts, like a lean feudal age into castle age, China is going to be slightly quicker when it comes to hitting that age up. But once again, like, Rus is much more sustained once they do get that age up in, and we're now also seeing that high trade house coming up. We already have the second archery range in there as well for B, so he's going to be able to pump out those those Rus cav archers, which are honestly very tilting to play against when you're only making like cavalry. When you're making horsemen and knights, it's the counter on paper, but it's also not the counter.
It's difficult for sure. I think especially if you're making both. With knights, you know, you can't effectively catch up to them, but they're very tanky and you can dive very well with the knights on top of the horse archers, restrict the amount of kiting potential that they have. But they're very slow and somewhat vulnerable, right? Whereas horsemen, on the other hand, they're a bit squishier, but faster, and they have that bonus damage. So if they get on top of those horse archers, the hurt is really put on, but naturally they have much less strength in those skirmishes, especially if the Rus player also has knights, which is going to be the case, B, with one in production already alongside the prepped archery ranger. So it's going to be the classic composition here for him. No surprises due to its effectiveness. Horse archers immediately in queue. He did get a nice early wheelbarrow as well, way before going for that cast blade, so that's going to be paying off quite nicely by now. No double broadaxe in for him yet, though.
I feel like this is typically the point in the game where China has like the biggest window of opportunity up against the Rus, right? Like this is where the moment where there aren't that many cavalry archers yet, and Rus just has well, not Rus, but China has like a really good production speed at this point in time on the cav archers. So I feel like this is the moment where if VortiX doesn't do like significant damage to B within the next like 2 minutes, that's where the cav archer scaling is just gonna go off the charts here.
Yeah, it's once those numbers reach double digits and beyond on those horse archers when it starts getting really scary and your knights suddenly go to being 3-shot and 3 volleys from these horse archers. That gets very scary. But this looks a bit reminiscent to a game between Lucifron and Louis MT last weekend, where Louis went for an incredibly aggressive knight timing, pumping nothing from 2 supervised stables but those knights and looking to dive B very aggressively. Lucifron in that case as the Rus. And looks like VortiX is going to be doing something very similar here with already 10 knights on the field.
And he hasn't showed them yet. He's just been hiding them for the most part. One of them gets shown over here, killing a scout, but he's not immediately diving in. Instead, look at what he's doing. He's waiting for Pierce Armor level 2 to come in.
This could be a really dangerous point here for B if he doesn't see this coming. There's no scouts in that center map. Looks like there was one heading towards the left side of that gorge cliff there, but he's gonna miss the army as the knights perfectly pivot around that right ridge. Is that a scout there on the front for B towards that stone? Those might be able to spot it.
I believe it is. I don't know. He didn't see it.
No, it doesn't see it yet.
It's in his blind spot.
This could be horrible here for B if he doesn't see it. Well, a lot to distract these spears. The spearman drawing potentially a lot of attention here.
They're drawing it.
This area. He's going for it. Here they
And
come.
now the knights get spotted. He immediately reacts. Units are getting pulled over here. Villagers evacuating. Getting pulled all the way to the backside now. Archers body blocking. He's forcing B all the way around. Cav archers need to be kited now. Oh, some villagers gonna go down. We do have a sprinkle emplacement inside of the base from B. That's gonna help him out a good bit. We do have also the Saint's Blessing helping out on these cav archers, helping them do a lot more damage. Still a lot of villagers that did already go down, 4 of them in total. There's still a lot more knights coming in. Cav archers not able to kite too effectively. Oh, good maneuver there by B.
Very nice TC up there by B, but only now did his Steeled Arrow come in. But it might be the pivotal timing as well. Most of the Lancers by now have went down here for VortiX. Damage has definitely been found though. He exchanges a lot of knights for a great deal of idle time. He trimmed the Horse Archer mass significantly and also killed 4 villages in turn as well as 2 warrior monks. But it was a costly investment without a doubt. His Lancer numbers are not looking nearly as healthy as they did before. And behind this, he did manage to collect one of the relics. Second one is on the way back as well for him. But now is when it gets difficult here for VortiX. Yeah, because
3 relics is still a significant amount here for B to have.
And you're stuck in this position now as VortiX where you have these knights. Yeah, the day running out and you have only these knights, which the faster this front line builds here for B with knights and the Horse Archer numbers keep building, it just won't work long term. You can't just play pure knights here against Horse Archers and knights from B. We're gonna see if Vortex pivots. He's getting those numbers up quick time though with that supervision. The Taxa, of course, helping out immensely as well. Bloomery being finished up. Vortex wants to go again.
And he's gonna find a nice timing this time though. B in theory, he's got a lot more relics to utilize here as well for some defensive wallows. One of them is gonna get denied though. Eight on the side, getting denied as well. Vortex still being very aggressive here on the flanks. He needs to be super careful here as well. We're getting level 2 pierce damage coming in soon as well. Ooh, these cavalry archers need to get pulled back. He's not kiting at all.
He's being dove at the same time.
He's A-moving on the other side.
Oh no, B. All of the horse archers
going down.
The idle time on top of it. 5 villages as well went down behind this here for B. Vortex. Just relentless in his diving here. More villagers just dying. The horse archers cannot kill them fast enough. Even with the additional damage, the undermage, this is what we're talking about. If you can back these horse archers against the wall being B's very own base, these knights gain so much value with this dive. B just can't control this mass. 20 lancers on the field for Vortex. Meanwhile, B can't even get to double digits with his cavalry anymore. The sprinkled emplacement working overtime, but it's just not enough.
And B, he can't get the cav archer mass up. The kiting, it just was not good enough in this one. And with that, his base now completely under Vortex control is gonna have to call GG. In a matchup that I personally thought was actually favored towards the Rus. Looks like Vortex was able to win it after all, as you mentioned, like you favoring the Chinese actually quite a bit here.
Yeah, Vortex did exactly win. I mean, I kind of expected to see Nice, since it is the most popular choice normally for Chinese, and Jushi for that matter, in this situation. But quite often I find it's so difficult to get the value needed out of them, but this type of timing, we've seen Louis do it last week, and now Vortex doing the very same, a little bit more concentrated, going around. But just the way he skirted the vision, I'm not sure how much of it was intentional. I'm sure he had a scout with those knights, so going around using that vision bonus, I mean, you know, it's a weird thing to say, but a lot of this was possible because of that tank vision bonus just being utilized so well here by Vortex. I mean, the dive, the idle time adding up, it's just worth it in the end for these knights. And Vortex capitalizing on it.
I feel like the one thing that I would have done differently here, this was such a nice TC help there from be there with the cav archers, just guaranteeing so much more HP on a lot of these cav archers. One thing that I think like could have made a major change to how this game went out in the end, if those two stables were barracks instead, because I see this so many times from Vortex, where his main army composition with Rus to open it up with isn't necessarily like knights and cav archers, but spearmen and cav archers.
Yeah, it can be a really good buffer against these early lancers, right? You don't even need many of them to really get a presence. Just while you get those relics, right, while your numbers are still building up, you can get a lot of value out of those few spears for so cheaply as well. Theoretically speaking, right, I mean, B, once that Boyar's Fortitude comes in, he has the better knights, practically speaking, right? They're just better. So, you know, it's quite funny how that works out, where in theory here, if B made nothing but knights of his own, he might have actually won out in the end in these skirmishes, especially with that that inspiration, of course, coming in from the warrior monks too. But one of those things, right? Hindsight is 2020. Yeah.
It's always something where you have to respect the early timing from Chinese. Like, Rus is a civilization where, as I mentioned, like, if they don't take, up against China or Shuji, if they don't take a lot of damage within the first, like, couple minutes after aging up, they pull further and further and further ahead, just thanks to, as we saw, like, the deer running out relatively quickly for China, much more sustainable for the Rus inside their base, as they're just spawning more and more of the deer as the game goes on, and just in general, having a much easier time when it comes to managing their resource in that regard. And of course, raiding with the cav archers, but just insanely well played by Vortex, not showing these knights early on, just massing them up to like, when you have like 10, getting the Pierce Armor level 2 in first, and then just going for the all-in into the base. That worked incredibly well here for him. Next up, though, we're going to be moving out to water, and we're going to be seeing the Iubids from VortiX on Archipelago up against the French from B. Iubids, that's an interesting one. I wonder if he got influenced by a certain someone there.
Could be on the cards, not a doubt. It's something we have seen before. Naib, it's still one of those very solid water civilizations, especially when the distance on water is so small as it is on Archipelago, because the players always spawn next to each other. Never do we have a cross-map spawn, so the distance is always minimal. I mean, it's almost on the same screen you're fishing as the opponents is, depending on which side of your island you decide to fish on. And the Iubids, I mean, you know, they still have some great timings here, right? The 10% from Golden Age is not to be underestimated. Industry Wing can also be a very fantastic choice to give you that immediate injection of wood as well as build speed on your docks as you add more and more, which are of course cheaper for the Iubids. And even the Fast Advancement Wing can be a great option here for some very dangerous timings as we load into game number 2 here. B. Finding himself a game down now in the color green as the French here on Archipelago, spawning in the north side of the map, facing VortiX in the color red. Leaning on the Iubids this time round, spawning on the western side of the map. Dock opening here from both, so, you know, one possibility the Iubids has is to go completely dockless and go for the industry with a normal age up and get a nice timing there with ships without any fishing. But it looks like that's not going to be the case, and in these cases, Advancement Wing becomes more popular instead to actually get the timing, because you already have fishing, you've delayed your Feudal Age somewhat already, so it's kind of dangerous and greedy to go for that industry still. I'm not sure if you see this, Crackedy. We also had sometimes, this is more of a thing with Abbasid, this has been in the past, because they don't have a choice of a faster age up. Quite often we see like something even like a triple dock for Iubids or Abbasid on this kind of a map, going for the slow age up and just splitting your ships evenly, looking to produce from all docks at the same time and trying to survive until you finish aging with an immense amount of economy.
I find it really interesting, like, all the different opportunities that you can, in theory, like, have with the Iubids. That's why I think, like, having this many different wings with, like, so many different playstyles to play around with is really great. Something that I personally would love to see at some point is, like, a fast age up, for example, and then, like, try to immediately go for something on land as well. Like, just an immediate, like, transport ship over to the other side of your opponent. Because you only have, like, 1 gold, right? Like, there's only 1 gold to have on your main base. You're gonna have to, like, move somewhere else if you wanna, like, get gold other than that. So there are opportunities to, like, be a little bit cheeky around that.
When you think about it in theory, right? Even just have, like, you know, I'm spitballing here, right? Imagine going for the dervishes. You make like just 1 or 2 desert raiders, transport them all over. The amount of investment B will need to actually deal with those dervishes on his gold is tremendous. Of course, you need a big investment to get them there in the first place. So it's easier said than done. But I mean, do dervishes heal ships? I don't think so, right?
They do. They should. Like, I believe the healing should extend towards the fishing as well, right? Like, it would make sense because, like, the king also healed.
It does. But then the ships get repaired by villagers and units don't, right? That's what makes me a bit unsure. That's an interesting one. Does anyone know for sure?
We are getting the fast age up in now.
Yeah, so there's going to be advancement here. Some investment into fishing ships. We have 5 now. More being added by VortiX as we speak. He might look for a second dock here, but this is where the timings get so fine. Do you have enough wood here to get a second dock and then make a galley, in this case a dhow, as well as a bugler at the exact same time? It's a tough one. The thing here for VortiX as well, right, is we have him leaning towards the southern side. Of course, he doesn't actually know where B is at this point in time. B knows where VortiX is, courtesy of the... Actually, no, he doesn't. The trade post vision is useless because there are none on this map.
Yep.
So he doesn't know
either.
either.
Trade posts.
But there's
Everybody's
any timing
clueless.
is... Exactly. Everyone is just blind. There's nothing but darkness there on the water. Uncharted
It's always
territory for
relatively
sure.
easy to tell, like, if you just spot the next island, right?
Yes.
There are like some giveaways. For example, if VortiX were to scout the next island, he would see that there is a gold vein that hasn't been touched yet. That would be a giveaway. Also, there's no boar on the main island, so if you see a boar along the coastline, that could also be a giveaway.
Another way as well is, if you pay attention, you can notice how the player islands have a very flat shore overall, just slightly rounded. But the uninhabited islands are pretty much full circles, right, along the shoreline. So you can kind of see the exaggerated curve and know that there's no player on that island in turn. But, you know, this hurts a little bit for VortiX because ideally, with this timing that you go for, we see the double shipping. But if he just had his docks on that northern side where B is, then this timing would be so much more potent. Yeah, he's even going to go check in the south side and is going to get the bad news. This is the type of situation where this actually is so unfortunate for VortiX because this is essentially setting him behind instantaneously. As B already has 10 fishing ships on the field. His time is going to come through. He's going to defend without too many issues here and just simply has more eco behind it. Not only in terms of fishing ships, but villages by now as well.
We're getting the early archer ship demo and springle ship already out for VortiX. It's going to be quite the dicey timing here now for B. He's got a couple more fishing ships, but this might actually cost him quite a bit now with this timing here. Fishing ships are going to be under fire now. Nicely split up though from B. Look at how many docks this guy has.
Quadruple
ready to
dock.
garrison all of his fishing ships there.
That's what I mean, right? This is an option that we've seen. It's very commonly historically for the Ayyubids and Abbasid to do this kind of thing on these maps. But B, utilizing the new strength of French on water. As I say that though, it looks like a little bit of microwave.
Oh, he heals it!
Get detonated and he gets it.
Big value!
Survive. Just for one fishing ship, that is not worth it for VortiX.
Nice. Lee played.
Good game. Well played. No, not quite yet, of course.
Now B reinforcing with his own additional archer and demo ship. He's going to be able to stabilize. Economic-wise, VortiX caught up when it comes to the fishing ships, but B now pulling ahead in the villager department, just courtesy of the French, of course. Making villagers a little bit quicker.
Slightly delayed wheelbarrow here for B, waiting some time after aging up to go for it. Maybe strained a little bit by the timing, of course. Wanting to deal with the pressure first before going for the wheelbarrow. But he's now stabilized and just has a firm economic lead now. Did lose one ship, but definitely worth it for him in the end. One demo for one fishing ship is not really worth it. Especially early on. Both players continue
VortiX is heavily reinvesting on water. We're getting a knight.
We do. Probably transport ship should be coming out soon as well, if not already. And this knight has the potential to cause a lot of trouble, but there's a long time before that trouble actually happens for VortiX, right? The knight has to come out, you have to get the transport ship, bring it across, move it to the gold, and then the damage starts. By which point, you know, with the amount of fish VortiX has, it will be an easier thing said than done. So looks to push in. Gets a volley on the springboard ship. Good damage dealt.
Ooh, archer ship needs to be careful. It's gonna get taken down. Has another one though. Healing comes in. Great timing. He's able to take down the demo ships here. Oh, that is so clutch.
Yeah, the second galley coming just in time if he has to be careful though, not to overextend it again. That's a big loss there. He doesn't have another one on the way. Only 3 springboard ships as well, and demos on the field for VortiX. Only one, and it's only one springboard ship hit away from detonating and dying.
And 3 more in queue though. He really wants to get this early aggression window in now.
Yeah, he did pick off a second fishing ship as well, so gets a little bit of additional value there. Good trades for VortiX here early on. Oh, he's building them up.
2 knights waiting for their transport ship.
Yeah, I don't think he has it on the field, on the seas just yet, right? He just wasn't able to find the wood for it, needing to reinvest into the navy here. This really hurts for B, because he can't get value out of them. Yeah, classic VortiX here, looking to end the game before it even really begins. Hiding half of them into this shallow water towards the right with the brush. Looking to do a double-pronged assault with the demos here. This could be really scary, but B has his own demos in tow. Plenty of numbers on his side as well. Now adding more.
He's sending his around as well.
Oh, this is a classic.
Classic demo versus demo. There's the ones on the other side now being in range. They're gonna be visible now. Archer ships, great micro on both sides, but the surround gets the connection in. Some fishing ships do go down.
Another fishing ship dead here for B, as well as 2 springboard ships. They exchanged like 5 demos for a fishing ship and 2 springboard ships. Not the worst of trade, but not crazy value either here for VortiX. But there's a big springboard ship advantage
lost
now.
as well.
Demo comes out, it's gonna detonate, but the springboard ship lives for now.
Gets away with it. But now the transport ship is finally coming in. And with that, opportunity arises.
Almost completed now, the transport ship is. When that comes in with 2 knights, the third one now in queue. We'll probably wait for that one as well. I mean, 3 knights can definitely do a lot of damage here.
He can shut down the entire wood economy. The entire wood income. There's a scout that's about to see it. But nothing he can do to deny it.
No, I mean, getting enough spearmen out here fast enough is not easy, right? Especially, I mean, VortiX, of course, has been very prudent with his macro, as we'd expect from these top players. So, you know, there's not much of a bank here for him to use when he does get idled. He does still have a good springboard ship lead here.
Quick
For how
wall.
long?
Quick long wall. Very long wall.
At least one will dies. Surely. Oh, he
Should.
actually doesn't go for
Oh,
it. Oh, he just
there we
goes
go.
straight in.
He's just got to stick in the wood. And
He's
engage
on.
at the same time.
Oh, this could be big. VortiX is not fully paying attention. He's microing the villages, so he takes a bad
His
initial
demos are
trade
out of
here.
position. He's got 7 demos completely out of position.
The fishing ships die as well as the springboard ship. They're gonna look to try to come around the back. This could be big, but B senses it. He doesn't want to overextend here.
He spots it out. He knows. Does he? Does he?
Can he kill them fast enough? Oh, he gets too close. There's nation from both sides. Plenty of damage.
So much
dealt there.
maneuvering. Oh, at the same time. These water battles are so jumpy and snowbally. It's insane.
Incredible micro and control displayed here from
And
both
GG.
players, but the knights are just too much.
He
can't
killed
get
the
wood.
knights.
He just doesn't have wood. And GG is
Can't
cold.
get him. Wow. Okay.
B.
The
Taking out.
checkmate maneuver.
It was looking so scary there, unable to get the transport, but once those 3 knights are there, there's no other wood line. There's only some, you know, half wood lines, sort of semi-stealth forest on that island, and, you know, what the knights can easily go to those as well. You can't afford to keep jumping back and forth, so when the advantage is manifested on water, VortiX here, losing on the water map, not something we see often at all. Be actually picking it in this second game. Feeling very confident.
That was incredible. Like, I was kind of fearful there with the investment from B, right? Like, he invested into 2 knights very early on and wasn't able to capitalize on that for quite a long time there. But he skirted the line and was able to hold his base. And once those knights came in, VortiX was really, really struggling dealing with that and not able to get back onto the wood line there.
Yeah, once the wood is shut down on this kind of map, it's like the food being shut down on a land map. If there's just no ships, there's no survival. Just like if there's no units, there's no survival here. And B, fully punishing that with the knights. Very well played, quite innovative here. Normally with French on these water maps, we do tend to see that one knight with transport ship, and it can do some damage, but often it's dealt with. But B saying, well, what's better than 1 knight? 3 knights, of course.
3 knights. This was such a decisive battle here as well, right? Like VortiX with so many demo ships trying to get this around and managed to take down like 2 springled ships there in the end. Also killing a lot of the demo ships from B at the same time. It was so close to being enough. And this is the thing on water maps. These things snowball out of control rapidly, like really, really rapidly.
Oh yeah.
Looks like B though, like he really like was on top of just how much VortiX was investing into these demo ships. He went all the way like into 3 archer ships here at this point in time, just because he realized just how heavily VortiX was investing into that. And can see in the graph here as well, just how VortiX being shut down on wood completely hindered him at reproducing any more ships there at that point in the game. And in the end, that was it. That was the game-ending move. But in case you guys are sad that that was like potentially the last water map of this set, fear not. We're moving straight into the next water-ish hybrid map that's coming in. We're moving to Holy Island with the HRE for VortiX up against the House of Lancaster from B. That's right, we're seeing House of Lancaster on a hybrid map. So no menace here. Lots of Lancaster to be found for sure.
Not just any hybrid map either. Quite a water-centric hybrid map at that. Unlike Vision Marshes, for instance, definitely less emphasis there. And some people might be a little bit confused to see Lancaster on this kind of a map, but make no mistake, just like on land, this Civ is as much, if not even more, of a menace on this map as those lords come out. Quite often we see a lean towards the land for Lancaster here, but even on water they have Admiralty and the fishing ship and overall ship discount for wood that English has, so perfectly capable of playing it as well. Lancaster just does it all.
Indeed they do, and there we go, jumping right into our game number 3 now. Both players tied in score at the moment. We've got VortiX in the color red playing as the Holy Roman Empire. He's going to be up against 3DB as the House of Lancaster here on the holiest of islands. We do actually have B opening us up here, not with a start with a dock. Instead, we're having a Dark Age Spearman Rush coming out from it.
Yeah, very interesting here for B. Common for the Lancaster as well as the Mongols on this map, the two civilizations that tend to go for this. We spoke a little bit about this before, often outside of stream, Crackety, right? About how much value can you really hope to get out of these spearmen on Holy Island specifically? I mean, it makes perfect sense to, of course, target that dock, try to get it torched down ASAP, and potentially, if you're lucky, you might be able to get a good timing on the gold and either delay or even prevent that age up entirely from VortiX here. Extra value against the HRE for that, because of course you do start with 100 less gold, so double the amount of mine for normal civilizations, but you do have a prelate to heal. But the thing with going for the torching the dock, right, is, as you can see, there's 3 very easily accessible islands on that water as well. And with just a simple transport ship and a villager inside, you really don't care that much about the stock going down.
Yeah. Not really, typically, at least. So, VortiX has already got 2 fishing ships in now. The question is, does he now, like, what's his plan for the age up in the end? There are multiple ways that he could play this. He could, like, suddenly just send a whole lot of villagers to a gold, maybe try and rush an outpost up. Looks like he's rushing with a lot of villagers to the gold now. And he actually doesn't have any spearmen there at the moment, so he is just focusing on burning down that dock. Only 4 villagers at the moment gathering the gold there from what he's gonna need a couple more trips, so he's gonna need a mining camp there on the gold, and he's just kind of letting that happen.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to be the mining camp, right? No long distance here for VortiX. He's going to look to try to get the gold necessary ASAP. This is smart, right? You want to just get the gold. That's the main threat. They're not actually being able to get the gold needed to age up. Being locked in Dark Age in this situation would be disastrous. And he has plenty of time here to go for that transport ship if he decides. The only real worry then becomes making sure that the villager you send to the shore actually makes it to that transport ship, which, depending on how well B controls that, it's easier said than done, because there are already 3 spearmen on this gold mine, and 3 is the magic number to outdamage the healing of the prelate, so VortiX can't stay here forever anymore. He's gonna get the gold pretty comfortably, I want to say, but no gold after that. Oh,
That's
number
gonna be
camp
rough now.
onto
Does
the wood
VortiX
as
have
well.
enough gold? Barely has enough gold.
Yeah. Calculate.
But the age up timing, it's pretty close between them.
Yeah, the additional gathering rate Lancaster has for those sheep really coming in clutch in these situations, allowing them to have one of the best spearmen rush in the game, I will say, as well as
It's a great
timing.
Archon spot as well.
It really is. Gets the gold as long as he's able to reclaim it. And of course, a good chunk of the wood line too. Kind of the optimal Aachen that you can hope for here on Holy Island as the HRE. Dock is going to go down, but there's no transport ship. You're just going to be comfortable dropping it. And this is where the waters get a little bit muddied, right? As Vortex has these 3 fishing ships, but from now on, they are, for the foreseeable future, dead weight in terms of population. B, however, quite curious to see the follow-up. Is it just going to be a full land gameplay and ignoring water entirely, or looks like there might be something moving along the shore? Is that a villager looking for a dock drop, perhaps?
It should be, because B, yeah, he is going for the dock drop, because he's also, like, gathering with a lot of villagers and wood, so it makes sense for him here to now go for a transition into that part. At the same time, there's also one particular red dot moving across the map from VortiX, who is now just gonna try and apparently dock B side. But there's a scout, there's a scout, there's a scout from B. He's not gonna see it. He barely doesn't see it.
Scout, yeah, looking to go back around the dock to make sure that it doesn't get prevented.
Wait, is he gonna go around the shoreline? He might go around the shoreline. He's got the spearmen on one side that are giving him vision.
But he can't stop it fast enough, right?
And he's also not looking. He's going the wrong way with the scout. VortiX. Smart with the...
Gonna look to get another dock on his side as well, it turns out. Archer out on the field, so the spearmen have to back off eventually. The timing could be scary here for VortiX with these villagers. There is one archer second about to come out.
Yeah, like just sacrifice the spearmen against the villagers here. You just need the delay. Then you can get your own ship out in the meantime.
You can definitely get one villager here if you're B for sure.
100%.
Yeah, one villager will definitely die.
One.
Second one should be fine.
And now the ship's
the
out. He cancels the dock. And VortiX is docking all the way over on B's side of the water.
But now his fishing ships are going to die, right? One is already... Actually, no, it's the villager that died. This fishing ship just barely gets away. It takes 3 springboard hits from the ship to actually destroy a fishing ship. And they are way faster, of course, so they will manage to get away this time. B, meanwhile...
Oh my god, the timing on this!
Yeah, this is kind of
insane. VortiX is also, once again, like, docking again on the other side. And now there's a hobbler on land just when the archers arrive.
Bad news for VortiX. The double lord on the field by now as well. Triple hobbler now, looking to keep VortiX's contained. The gold is undoubtedly the next target on his menu. As the dock from VortiX.
On the dock. And there, he's gonna spot it. It's gonna go up. It's spotted too late.
It's gonna go up, but what are we getting here, right? I mean, the galley is in queue straight away, but there's already a springboard ship out. There's a secondary dock coming in now for B as well. In theory, for B, if he produces ships, he should be more than fine in controlling VortiX here. But the fishing ships are there. They can be used to help in a fight, but the land is a bigger problem right now for VortiX, as these hobbler look to be very annoying.
He's just not taking that much damage here at all from these archers. Already having 3 armor, he's forcing VortiX off the gold entirely. And now the ship gets spotted, or rather the dock gets spotted. He's gonna lose one of the hobblers here. Damage pretty much done.
Galley's gonna look to lock down that dock, prevent any sneaky demo from popping out potentially. As VortiX goes for his own springboard ship now, but B having a second springboard ship now in queue for him. Spears on the field now for VortiX as well. But B just keeps getting more. Just manages to get away.
He's just making additional lots of Lancaster now. We got 1 demo and double springboard ships. VortiX now adding his own springboard ship in there as well. And a demo ship. Yeah, he doesn't really have an answer to the demo ship at the moment. That's about to be coming out. I guess he was thinking because he locked down VortiX on the gold, he couldn't possibly afford demo ship. But he's got enough. So this one is gonna hurt.
Yeah, this could be very pivotal here. B has to be extremely careful. There is no galley for him. He just runs straight in. The springboard ship dies straight away to the demo.
It's an immediate trade out.
Just like that.
It's an immediate trade out, but there's double springboard ship. And now VortiX doesn't have enough for enough. Actually, he does have enough for a second springboard ship, but he's gonna be able to get the arch ship, and with that, oh, he can get the villager there as well. Oh, villager repair potential. No, never mind.
Yeah, but the demo, I don't think that springboard ship will go down. Yeah, the demo dies to the springboard ship. There's plenty of fishing ships here to repair, but there's no wood.
Not gonna be enough. It's not enough. Behind
Another
this,
one.
Vortex is now playing a little bit more aggressively on land as well. There's some... Actually, it's just archers, and there's already like a hobbler there. Oh, beat. Be or not to be? That's a lot of damage.
Turns out it was, in fact, not to be. Be on the water there. He does lose a springboard ship and leaves one very low. I was just looking to split away from the hobbler, but yeah. I don't think they're getting away, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's just so much destruction value here for B that he's gained, right? Like, he's forced Vortex into a really weird game, and Vortex is now pivoting. Vortex is pivoting, and it is a pivot into a Castle Age transition from him. Lots of villagers now spread between food and gold. And that's, like, kind of the way now to play, I want to say. Like, B could, of course, like, invest into water. But it's also, like, a very costly investment there.
Especially at this stage,
It takes a lot of time to pay off. Yeah. Look at this filthy play with the scout, body blocking.
Disgusting.
The retreating Lords of Lancaster. I
This should
love
be
it.
cheating. How does he do it? Just like that? As if he's playing Dota. Vortex is just, without too many issues, blocking that Lord very well. Of course, the additional speed helps too on these infantry units. Not finally getting to go down, but Vortex has given up on it a while ago by now, so...
Yeah. It's interesting that, okay, for a second I thought B would just, like, pull the short bows. The issue here, though, is we're actually getting a Burgrave Palace in, and they're still, like, deer, totally unharassed. Vortex got a forward force coming in. I don't know. I feel I'm seeing a way here. I'm seeing a way here for Vortex to just shut down B's economy.
There's
in a
definitely
sense.
a way.
Well, not the economy, but, like, yeah, the production and whatnot. We've got a couple of yeomen now in, though. There aren't that many archers, so maybe not after all. But the Burgrave can make things happen. The Burgrave can definitely make things happen here.
It definitely can, especially considering B has no fishing ships whatsoever at this point in time. There's no... It turned into just a land game at this stage. As it seems like something might... Yeah, he's looking to produce some, but this is a dangerous thing. When that castage comes in, B is nowhere near his own age up, and just unaware the Burgrave for HRE did get a bit of a tweak recently. It now gives additional plus 50% charge damage to all barracks units, which can add up quite considerably.
See that Hobbler? Did you see that Hobbler just losing like 90% of his HP with a single spearman charge there?
Just like that.
Just like that, the Hobbler just got almost eradicated, like unsubscribed from life.
And gold looking to be under threat now. There are plenty of space here, so this Hobbler should be pushed back. Veterancy is coming in for men-at-arms, actually.
Definitely needs them on the men-at-arms. The only real unit here that he can, like, realistically make in order to get, like, a superior trade going between these skirmishes.
Yeah, they're gonna hold the front line very well, but they are slow, and with the Lords, the Yeoman, and the Hobbler,
yeah,
damage is gonna add up quickly.
The Lords doing 16 damage here with every attack. Sure, they've got low attack speed, but if you have 16 damage, it's enough to penetrate the armor.
Where are the Lords, though? Only one on the front line here, right? B, I feel like taking maybe a bit of a premature fight here. Only now are the Lords connecting again, but there's plenty of men-at-arms here for Vortex. With that veterancy, they're actually doing great work here. One of the Lords will be going down soon, as well as a second one now, too, behind this, and Vortex is cleaning up here.
He is cleaning up. There's still a couple of yeomen. They might be able to take down some of the villagers here, and indeed are going to be able to pick some off.
Classic burger. Double cheese. Smashed patty.
But still, B has the water behind this. He's on 10 fishing ships almost, 9 at the moment. Worst case scenario, we just shift the entire economy over to the shoreline. Right?
Yeah, well, there's some shoreline fish
Goodbye,
there. Great
Gold of
gather
Lancaster.
rate. Oh, he's not long for
mind.
this one, but he redirects his focus to the gold. That's definitely the juicier target than the Lord in this case. I mean, B, he's just feudal locked at this stage.
Yeah, has no real efficient way for him to get out of it. He's still investing into the Lords of Lancaster. He invested a lot more into the military here. We have the outpost in placement here, so that's going to add in at least a little bit of damage. There's only level 1 Pierce armor at the moment on the men-at-arms from VortiX, and level 1 Pierce damage on the side from B. Could be jumping out of the outpost every now and then to try and repair, but it's really rough right now. Like, these men-at-arms just aren't going down quite quickly. Villagers are going to hop out, try to repair the outpost, are going to get a good amount of repair in. He is going to have to retreat with the main army here at least a little bit, and this outpost is eventually going to go the way of the dodo. Villagers are going to hop out, and in, and out, and are in part going to go down. Only one villager is going to bite the dust there. Most make it out alive. The issue is there's just no stopping this. Like, Vortex, he's got 900 food per minute. He's continuously reinvesting the deer. He's just absorbing all the resources that he's got out on land and immediately turning it into military. Fighting underneath the TC, though. The Lords of Lancaster getting a good amount of hits in. This is the moment where B is able to make a stand.
You have to be quite careful here as Vortex. Only now is the second ranged armor coming in. You don't want to lose most of your men-at-arms. There's still a good bunch on the field, and B is still locked in this feudal age. Barely any resources in his bank to work with. Vortex still has plenty of food as well to work with on land, but B is economically significant. There are 14 fishing ships now. Vortex understands if he does not deal a crippling amount of damage here or just outright end the game, then he's in big trouble the moment he lets up any kind of pressure, as B is hungry to get the castle age and really push Vortex back just to kill him. And these men-at-arms, they have faster movement speed, and they have that additional charge damage. These are some of the best men-at-arms you can get at this stage of the game. But will they be enough here for Vortex? There's plenty here as he charges in. You can see that charge damage. Great damage. The Lord of Lancaster nearly melts upon contact. And they just keep chasing. The additional move speed is so clutch when diving like this on the DC. You can force this fight. You can idle those villagers. The Lords are dying pretty steadily. The second one now goes down for B. B is still 4 producing units. But there's men-at-arms. They're just not dying fast enough, Crackedy.
Not dying at all. There is a transport ship evacuating some of the East economy time and time again. I feel like B at this point in time, he just needs to run. Run away with the archers, try and pick off villagers that are out on the map, because behind, as long as Vortex has access to all these resources on the map, the men-at-arm flow is never gonna stop. At this point in the game, it might just be too late.
Does make you wonder if in B's position after getting water, if you just wanted to, would have wanted to just go for that age up, right? The White Tower, either on the wood or the gold, would have secured you very cozily, even against the Burgrave, because this is an all-in move from Vortex. There's zero scaling behind this whatsoever. If you just had that White Tower, maybe it would have been fine, but B reinvested, right? I don't think he saw this castle age timing being so sharp and quick at all. And as a result, gets caught with his pants down a little bit, now running desperately back and forth, trying to save the villages, retain some of his army mass, take fights against men-at-arms one by one, but it feels like such a difficult task taking down even one of them.
Yes, it really is. He's struggling for wood resource at the moment as well. Does in theory have the ability, of course, of trying to land on one of the outer shorelines there, maybe get a lumber camp up there to get some wood in again. It is a rough one for sure at the moment for him, still running around with villagers. Didn't lose too many, he still overall killed more than he lost. The difficulty is just keeping the economy working behind all of this, and the working part is the thing that's just not really working at
Vortex has situated himself now on that central island there. Plenty of villagers gathering from that massive gold vein at this point. And there's plenty of fishing ships, as we mentioned before, so food income is looking relatively healthy for him here. Definitely a shadow compared to Vortex's, of course, who's all over the map at this point in time. Look, the deer, probably going to look to take the boar soon as well. Now looking to go for those raids, he needs to use the mobility of this hoplite to get some damage and somehow find a castle age, but his men-at-arms are just everywhere on land.
Yeah. Vortex focusing down the houses. Just the infrastructure damage here that's being done is quite something. Springle ship now also patrolling around the shorelines. Right now, B only has access to gold there. And Vortex about to ram him.
Well,
I feel like this is the point in time where you need a market and just try and like min-max somehow to get the age up in.
But at least the houses on that island are safe, right? So these rams at least won't house him that significantly anymore. And I agree completely. You have to somehow age up here, but I mean, that's easier said than done. There's villagers hiding towards that northern corner there for B, it looks like, alongside that woodline, and Vortex has had enough. He just wants to kill him. He managed to take one relic in, second on the way now, but it's just nothing but men-at-arms, using all the food on the map to just keep pumping them.
Traded out.
And only 2 landmarks for B, so...
It's 800 food. If you can somehow get the 800 food in now. Oh, okay, I think it's getting too late. He's trying. He's macroing for it. A little bit more food. There we go. Age up. Oh, this is going to be so close. This is going to be so close.
The Abbey, right? So
but the Abbey's already halfway down.
Oh yeah, this is getting focused. The Rams are going to make quick work of it. 25 on the King's College. That's a great amount of building speed. More than halfway complete now. I think he's going to get it. Oh, it's so close.
I'm not sure. It's so close. It's already burning.
Oh my god.
It's going down before. It's GG.
It's GG.
And GG comes in.
Go up. Eliminated. I mean, oh, that feels so bad if you're B. It was looking really rough anyway, let's be honest, even if it does go up, but that just stings, doesn't it? With water as well, just dying to something. I mean, this is such a tilting thing to lose to, isn't it, Crackety? You got the water, you dealt damage on land, then you die to something as, you know, as bread and butter as a Burgrave all-in. That's gotta hurt.
Definitely hurts when that happens, especially since if we look at the economy count, there's a slight difference there. There's a slight favor for B. Also in the military value for a long time, there's a slight bias on B's side there for sure. But yeah, this is like one of those things. The situation is, of course, like once you win water, there are ways to cockroach in a way that your opponent just can't get you off water. And you were able to get every single resource in the game from water alone. Because once you start trading on water, you get wood, gold, and there's fish as well for food. So you have access to every single resource aside from stone and the large gold vein on the island. To the point where it's just incredibly difficult to get you out of it. Not to mention, this civilization can make manors as well.
Exactly right. Easily placed on that island, so... Be definitely unhappy right now after this game. That really has to hurt. And you know, Vortex had zero scaling or economic prowess behind this whatsoever. The food on land was gonna run out. He was starting to get some relics, but there's no regnants here. There's no real boost there. So if B just managed to get that landmark up fast enough, I wonder if he wishes he idled some villagers to save some couple of seconds on that King's College.
If only he got it up like 10 seconds earlier, which to be fair, he could have. He could have gotten it 10 seconds earlier. But yeah, just not being able to get the age up in here, that hurts. I feel like maybe B could have just like, you know, went for a quicker transition onto like the island there, spread apart a little bit more with the villagers, and especially like with the added movement speed on the Yemen. Just make sure that Vortex isn't able to just soak up all the resource on the map like he did in this game. Especially food-wise. Like, the sheep ran out relatively quickly, just thanks to all the additional gather speed underneath the Ark and Chapel. He was just out on the deer there and the berries there for the majority of the time there towards the end. That's like the prime target to hit. Getting stuck inside of your base against the men-at-arms then, that has to hurt so much. But... it's not over yet because we're moving on to our game number 4. Vortex at the moment on match point, 2-1 at the moment up against B, and this is going to go all the way to game number 4. Now, Coastal Cliffs coming up next. It's going to be the Japanese for Vortex up against the Malians from B, and this is a matchup that I find pretty interesting. Like it's like one of those where once the Malians get to like the Castle Age, mass Sofa, mass Archer type army composition, there's still a way for the Japanese with the Mounted Samurai and the Yumi Archer to persevere, but there's just so much passive income from the Malians where it feels like Japanese at one point, like they're falling behind quite a bit in the later mid-game stages.
It's a pretty spicy matchup for sure. I've seen it go either way countless times before. As gonna look to reposition. Yeah, it has really went in many ways in the past, as we have seen. Mali taking some games from the Japanese, and Japanese taking games from the Mali in turn. On this map, a big part of it is that Dark Age, isn't it? How many space do we invest into to target that pit mine? Because I think Dark Age is pretty much inevitable. You kind of have to go for it here as Japanese. It's one of your significant advantages when you do decide to play them up against the Malians. But I do wonder if he's going to cook up something special. We've seen a lot of Sofa priority recently for the Malians in a lot of these matchups, as opposed to the classic sort of Donzo Javelin. But against the Japanese, right, I mean, they have such great spears with the Bannerman. Their horsemen are really good as well. And the Yumi. So they have more armor, but that's with the imported armor in Castle, right? So the Feudal Mask from Japanese is really scary here for the Malians to deal with.
That's true. But you always have to like kind of decide what you want to like go for when it comes to the Bannerman, because like getting up to the second Daimyo stage takes quite a while to get there, of course. And the Sofa at the moment for the Malians in Feudal Age are also really, really strong. Javelin throws up against the Yumi Archers, it's a tough one, I feel like. It's one where if the Japanese have a good feudal mass and get attack advantage in, they can have some really good timings then. But we're about to find out just exactly how this one is going to go now, as we're about to jump into a game number 4. Potential match point here for Vortex in this best of 5 up against B. And here we go as we watch B spawning in the color green. Is the Malians on Coastal Cliffs. His opponent is going to be none other than Vortex in the color red as the Japanese here. And no big surprise here, as we are going to be seeing that Dark Age barracks getting rushed up by Vortex.
Gotta buy a house on the berries. Standard opening here for Vortex. Gonna look to put on the pressure nice and early. Fantastic spawn for B, however, I have to say. The double forward wood line can be a bit detrimental in Feudal Age when it comes to Yumi pressuring it, but early on, it ensures that those golds are at the back, well, towards the side, but behind those two wood lines, it's pretty much in the back. And the second one is quite easily defendable as well. A wall towards that stone, and then into the north from the stone means for a pretty cheap wood investment, you have both your pit mines relatively safe here early on. So be probably going to be happy with that one. But meanwhile, for Vortex as well, some great food spots for him. Very safe deer. Some berries towards the left as well. It's like there's no Tawara being prioritized for Vortex in this position, so...
It's like one of those upgrades that is really, really good just to get in general. But it's something where you have to like really macro for it as well, because it's like 25 wood cost here, which you could in theory afford. Might also just want to go for a third spearman potentially. But it means that your age up time, especially after you already went for the Dark Age barracks, is going to be even further delayed, as you'll need even more gold.
Yeah, exactly right. The walking time adds up in these early stages. Takes a while for it to pay off. But if you're going to play an extended Dark Age like this, there's decent value to be gained from it. We do have the tower going up for B, which is somewhat standard nowadays, right? With the mill, of course, one sheep next to it means the villager can gather from the sheep, whilst being in close proximity to the tower at the same time. He can garrison to push away the space whenever necessary. And
I'm a little bit confused at the moment, because Vortex, he's still gathering wood with 2 villagers. But he's not making any more spearmen.
Yeah, I think he just...
Is he trying...
was wondering if he wanted to get it for the house, but of course he has more than enough for that by now. The 20 pop house, that's quite important at this stage. But yeah, it's a lot more. Is he going to try to
No
just
villager
sneak?
moving out.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange. Is it just a miss macro here? I wonder what the idea is.
Might be. He just doesn't want to move the villagers off of wood for the time being and then just transition into like Yumi archers. Nice sheep. Ooh, B's got a good lion share here of the sheep.
Yeah, he's got the edge without a doubt. He's gonna be happy with that one. Vortex, though, as the Japanese, you know, with the crystal house, he's not gonna feel the sting of that sheep too much. As the aggressor, most likely, is also going to be out on those berries and the deer eventually, undoubtedly. So it's gonna be quite important for him. Gonna look to poke the pit mine a little bit for some idle time on that one villager. Mansakori, of course, for B as well.
This outpost like already pretty much paid dividends here, if you think about it, right? Like 100 wood for the 75 wood investment over on Vortex's side for the barracks. Granted, that's something that he wants to get up eventually anyways. But the 2 spearmen, the opportunity cost there, it's pretty big.
It's pretty big, right? I mean, 160 resources at the end of the day in those 2 spearmen. Not a light price to pay, especially for, well, the only real value gained was forcing that outpost and a little bit of idle time on the villager beside it. The jab timings will be relatively similar here. B will be up first. Marlin's often age up with that 5th villager. Get the Mansaquai pumping the gold nice and early. Able to get upgrades as well as cows. Which B does love to do this. We were speaking about this before, didn't we? Going for that early ranch and those early cows just to get a bit of a boost in food. Can be really comfortable here for the Marlians.
Interesting spot here for the ranch. I will imagine that he's gonna eventually like chop into the wood line, then delete the lumber camp and put the Grand Falani pretty much where the wood line is at the moment, where the lumber camp is at the moment.
Does feel a bit
Send it that
unnecessary though, right? Like, you just put the Mansaquai towards that northern corner or left corner of the TC. And you have plenty of space at the back.
Min-maxing.
Right.
Oh, never mind, that's the archer range completely invalidates that.
Yep.
Maybe towards the bottom side after all.
Maybe it's for
Right-ish
Rimba
bottom
Garrison.
side. Maybe it's Rimba Garrison, maybe it's Maybelline, we'll find out eventually.
Maybe follow up as well. No surprises here for B. He does love to go for this archer sofa composition. Just like VortiX historically does with the Marlians. A great composition as well, as you mentioned before. Although I do think it's overall potentially slightly weaker than Donzo Javelin in most cases. The ability to just have your premium Castle Age units already to upgrade when you go up to that Castle Age, if you do get there, is so valuable. Eliminates a lot of the weak spot that Marlians can find themselves in that early Castle Age specifically, until they get the composition switch going.
Is Vortex macroing just to a fast Castle Age here? Looks like it.
Now, we have seen him do this in the past against Lucifron's Marlians as the Japanese himself. Just a little bit of Dark Age into straight away a Castle Age. You're going to get a great timing here, but B, as long as he respects this.
I mean, he's using this timing, right? Like, he's immediately getting a couple of cattle out, he's immediately getting the second pit mine in, he's using this map control that's given to him.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if he's gonna, you know, draw the right conclusions and actually, like, make the units that he needs to in order to stave off the aggression that's gonna be following up from Vortex after that fast Castle Age.
And with the way B is playing this, the Sofa and the Archers, although great when they're upgraded against Mounted Samurai, not exactly the best choice, not having Donzo.
Kind of missing here at the moment.
It'd be dangerous in the long run, but the pit mine is going to go up without issues here for B, of course. And Vortex getting closer and closer to that Castle Age. I'd imagine B is probably going to be quite fast with his turnaround time here on the age up. I doubt we will see 20 cows before that Fulani is dropped. If it is Fulani, I mean, the cow positioning is a bit curious, right? So, could still be Farimba, although that would be pretty unprecedented.
it's just not part of the meta catalog anymore, I want to say. Like every week, for those that aren't in the know, for every single week, just for pro players exclusive, there's like this little catalog that you can subscribe to that's getting sent around. And it's like, this is meta at the moment, this isn't meta. This was not in the catalog.
Yeah, it's true. I've examined it pretty thoroughly. My Sunday reading last week, and it seems like that wasn't on the cards here. Floating gate is up, 30 seconds away now for Vortex. The spears are going to prevent any kind of dive here, but the timing is still a little bit dangerous. There's definitely going to be a little bit of idle time here for Vortex. But any real damage, probably not.
You're not going to get sacrificed here before the age up.
He feels the pressure. He's going to rush the ones from the berries as well. 6 more, and he might lose. No, there's going to be no villages going down, so... I mean, all things considered, pretty good here for Vortex, right? Only 2 spearmen, and the age up is through.
I'm not sure if this is enough yet for B to, like, dive the outpost. He doesn't have Pierce Armor or anything like that. We're now getting the double Rex follow-up. Looks like he is gonna dive the outpost at the very least now. Starts burning that one down. Outpost is gonna start firing onto the archers, though. He's gonna have to evacuate, at least for the time being here. Is Vortex gonna save the outpost with the repair? I believe he is, yeah.
The first mounted samurai
continue.
coming out as well is enough to really scare B away in this position. He's gonna look to try to maybe torch again, but second samurai is now on the field, so every passing second it gets harder and harder to siege this outpost. Surrounded by the Sofa, he's gonna deal good damage to one of the samurai, but the Sofas are just falling like flies here actually to the outpost as well as the mounted samurai. No village damage found except some idle time. And B runs away.
That wasn't it, at least not quite yet. Also getting the Daimyo in behind this, so Vortex about to be able to get a really, really quick Venom and follow-up in as well. Just a couple of Gonzos here so far. B, he's also starting to have to resort to feasting on some of the cattle here as the sheep are running out for him. Walls coming up.
A little surprised to see no move out onto the berries by B. Double outpost with double mill. 5 villages each. Could be quite effective here. Would really help expedite his age up timing as well as his mass. But they are very forward. It's a risky maneuver without a doubt. Especially once those mounted samurai start crossing the map. Vortex though, still just massing them for now. Biding his time, not wanting to push over. It's one of the risks you run into playing against Marlians, especially if you rush castle age like this. Sure, you have the timing, you have these really strong units, but if B just keeps investing whilst making cows, he's going to be more than able to exceed the mass here for Vortex and win fights decisively if Vortex extends too deeply.
He's remassed a lot of the Sofa, but now we're getting to the point where there's like equal mass Sofa to these mounted samurai. Only 6 cattle up at the moment. And for the scaling point, like, Vortex is also starting to pick up the relics. He's going to be able to get one of the Shinto priests down here. Doesn't want to take the prolonged engagement, though. I don't think so, at least. Almost killed one of the mounted samurai. That one could get healed up now.
The
Shinto priest, that's pretty big. That's a good delay. That's the last Shinto priest that was alive.
We are exchanging quite a few Sofas for these Shinto priests though as B. So it's a heavy price to pay. You prevent the relics, but the issue is those mounted samurai numbers, they are not stopping. It will just keep rising up to double digits now. Vortex is the Yumi follow-up. Very logical here for Vortex. Yorishiro dropped inside it as well, so now working overtime.
It's quite rough. Now, we do see a lot of Donzos gathering here, and this is going to mean that these mounted samurai aren't going to get the most value out of a potential raid now on the gold. Leaving the Sofa to once again try and, like, look for some damage here. You can see Lance throws are going to be able to deter Vortex from diving any further with those. And B, most importantly, gets the information on the Yumi switch.
Yeah, Yumi here make a lot of sense here for Vortex, and B will know that ahead of time before they get to his doorstep. But this is a very treacherous timing right now for B. We can see he's moments away from slapping down that Fulani at the back. Almost up to 10 cows now, a good amount, and not too greedy either before this age up. So as long as he just survives this timing, Vortex actually is going to regroup first, so this might be some crucial seconds that B needs here, as he rushes the age up with 13. Gonna be able to get the Donzo upgrade, and then theoretically if he just makes Donzo and Sofa, fight should be favoring him with enough mass and the food, but there's a lot of mounted samurai.
There really are. At least the timing is going to be quite close here for Vortex to the damage, because the veterancy upgrades not only cost half for the Malians, but also come in twice as fast. So Vortex is going to be quite pressed for time here to do some damage now. He's getting at least all of the relics in behind this. Age up has now finished up. Upgrades are coming in immediately.
Yeah, we do need to do significant... Any significant damage here Vortex needs to, right? But it's just said than done. We see all those decks coming in, like you mentioned, practically cheaper and faster here for these Malians. More Donzos in production. Likely Sofa should be following next, but it's still tough to afford everything here as B. Your ranches are not yet full, only 9 out of 20 at this point in time. You have to be still so careful. Vortex, though, has struggled to really get the numbers together and the upgrades at the same time. Still only with Steel Darrow, now getting his Undermesh. He also lacking in upgrades, however, for now. Only now finishing Undermesh. Imported armor halfway done, however.
Might be able to pick up some reinforcements here, potentially, with the Sofa now. These Pitmines actually buying B quite a lot of time, as Vortex can't really go for any, like, meaningful assaults yet.
Yeah, keeping this Yumi mass somewhat low is going to be great. Be helpful here for B in holding this. One village does go down. Nice little snipe there by Vortex.
The gold just now running out is pretty difficult for B. He can't go to the second goal. The Pitmine's also just getting destroyed now. There's still a goal on the left-hand side, but that is something that could also always be pivoted into by Vortex, so he needs to be really, really careful about when he moves out to that. Yumi Archer's starting to pick off some of the Donzos here.
And as long as
Samurai going for the engagement.
Just now the Yumi are cutting back and forth as they go for the Donzo. Mounted Samurai looking to screen the defense, preventing the Sofa from getting on top of them. But the Donzo numbers are falling rapidly here for B. He can't quite get the surround needed. This choke point actually doing wonders here for Vortex as he kites back and forth. Beautiful control there, and suddenly the destroyed value is more than double in his favor. And the Mounted Samurai looks like just none of them have died. As Vortex now, with newfound vigor in this case, is going to dive directly. Doesn't even bother kiting anymore. There's just not enough units for B. His mass is gone.
Just like that, B's on just 7 military remaining. Had to move out now to the gold, all the way to the left-hand side. But that is something that could get spotted, as Vortex must realize, okay, my opponent's completely off of all the golds on the right-hand side. There's only one spot where he can get gold from. He's only on 7 cattle at the moment remaining, and these are just gonna get burnt down. The cattle ranch is now under fire. Once those cattle are gone, the food income from B is gonna get dropped drastically as well. The remaining units, the TC is empty, though it's not really adding any meaningful damage at the moment. Villagers running over here in order to get inside of the TC. Only real way at the moment for B to be able to do damage to these Yumi archers with the villagers inside of the TC. That's 14 mounted samurai against just 6 Sofas here. This looks over, man.
Yeah, it's pretty disastrous. Even now, the level 2 ranged armor coming in. But Vortex doesn't even need it. Ranch is getting destroyed as well, and it's too much for B to overcome in this game number 4. Vortex takes the series 3-1 here and pushes B towards the lower bracket.
GG. Vortex able to win the set 3-1. Man, these were some incredible games.
Really great games here. Vortex.
That Holy Island game.
Yeah, oh my god, that was pretty crazy. Lancaster tends to do that though, I find, on that map. They just really, just like Mongol does, right? You get some pretty crazy games on that map with these two saves and the Dark Age shenanigans. always fun to see and definitely difficult to play as well for either side.
Aye. Yeah, the sofa play there. I feel like maybe something like a case could have been made there for like the gold denial there at that crucial point in time, right? When B went for the dive. It felt like these mounted samurai just like they were built differently. Like these sofas, there were like 6 sofas there. Felt like the mounted samurai just didn't take any damage at all.
There's honestly no scarier unit in this early castlage than the Mounted Samurai, and VortiX, a player with his level of control, putting them to great use here. Just this dive even, I mean, by this point it was very difficult for B. But executing that fight so cleanly, B just cannot get the mass up fast enough. Pretty insane here, and he's able to close out the win.
Very difficult army composition, right? Like it's so difficult when you're trying to like take an engagement with spearmen and sofa up against faster archers and knights. Like the main difficulty just being those archers being so much quicker means that VortiX can very decisively decide like when he wants to really take these fights and how he wants to take them, most importantly.
It's always a difficult position to maneuver as the Malians, right? When you're an age down, you can pretty comfortably reinvest into units while you keep adding cows, and in theory, you should be fine once you get that Fulani, but when there's such potent, strong units, and also powerful economy behind the Japanese, you have the Mounted Samurai and the Yumi, some of the best knights in the game, or some of the best archers in the game. I mean, that's... You know, the zerging strategies of Malians are effective, but if you can't survive that initial timing push, it's over before it even really began.
I feel like in the later stages, there's always a case to be made with Poison Arrow archers just being able to do tremendously well, even up against Mounted Samurai. But you just gotta get there first. That's the most difficult part, and I'm not sure about you, but I feel like B, he went like a couple of roundabout ways in order to get to his own castle age, right? Like it was a little bit delayed. But now it is my pleasure to interview VortiX after this 3-1 victory up against B. So ladies and gentlemen, give it up for VortiX. All right, VortiX, congratulations, winning up against B in the playoffs here, 3-1, meaning that you are gonna be moving up first and sending B into the second chance bracket at the bottom. This was an interesting set with many interesting games. How are you feeling after playing this one?
Yeah, thank you, first of all. I'm feeling really well. I think I got some rough matchups, in my opinion, and they went well for me in the end. So that's really happy, because I think my draft wasn't really good. So I was kind of worried when the series started, but it ended up good, I guess. So I'm feeling well.
I mean, this was... I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the individual games that we saw here today. So first of all, I mean, the China versus Rus game, I feel like you have quite a lot of experience with that one now at this point in time, right? Like, I personally still believe that Rus is just like incredibly strong up against China and Zhuji. But this timing that we're seeing nowadays, like we've seen it a couple of times with just the mass knights hitting Rus just before they build up that big, scary cavalry archer mass. That is so crazy difficult to time, though.
Yeah, I think the same way. I think actually, like, overall China is better than Rus, obviously, but I think in the direct matchup, it's not so clear. Honestly, I don't know if Rus is favored, but at least I think it's really playable, right? Than with most other ships. And yeah, I agree. I mean, Horse Archer play has been like the standard for a while, like Fast Castle and Horse Archer. But it is true that before you transition into Knights, you are super weak against +2 range armor pushes. So actually, I hadn't thought of it before the game, but as the game went by, I thought maybe it's could work. So I went for it, and actually worked perfectly.
Yeah. After that, like, Archipelago, Ayubits versus the French. That was such a rough game, I feel like that. It went so back and forth, and you just went ham, absolutely ham on the demo ships there. It was really, really close, but then those knights, I feel like that was the entire turnaround, like they shutting you off of wood. That was a really close one. Do you think, like, it's interesting. Do you feel like French is more and more becoming like a pseudo water civilization? Because we've seen French more and more often being picked on like these water maps as well.
Yep. I mean, it has some decent bonuses, right? Like the docks giving 10 supply, and then also the ships being cheaper, the hulks at least. I think it's pretty decent. But honestly, also the economic upgrades, right? You get the wood upgrade super cheap. The lumber camps are also cheaper. It's for sure good, I think, but I don't think French is that strong, honestly, on water. I think in that game, everything that could go wrong went wrong for me. Like, I was directly opposite from where his dogs were. Obviously, it's a gamble, right? In Archipelago, you don't know where he's gonna be. So it was like the worst position possible from all the possibilities. And then also, I don't know what I did with my first demo, but not killing the Hulk there was actually terrible. I think from there, the game was, like, all my plan was already going to shambles, right? And then the Knights, yeah. I think the reason water was so close is because he was going Knights behind, right? Like, I think if he just focuses on water, he would have straight up won with my opening.
Talk to me a little bit about game number 3, because I feel like that one was sort of like the highlight of the set here today. The House of Lancaster versus HRE game on Holy Island. Because this was like a very weird opening to begin with, right? Like with the Dark Age Spearman Rush, which we haven't seen in like quite a while on a map like Holy Island. I feel like most players just realize that the travel distance is so long. But the game just got completely derailed from there on out. Talk to me about how you, like, what was your decision making once you, like, got that Castle Age in?
Yeah, I mean, that game was weird as hell. I don't think I've played a game as like that at all in my whole life, right? I don't know, Lancaster is just, their economy is just too good with the ships early on, I feel like. And if they open spears and they get, like, the same H-up timing as you, that's really awful. I think my biggest mistake on the early game was maybe going too early for the gold, when I think maybe what I should do is, I don't know, make the transport ship and go to the island. And from there, it was all improvisation. I didn't know what was going on. I actually sent one villager to the bottom side of the map to make a dock. And for some reason, I sent it back. I don't know what I clicked, but I sent it back. And then he actually spotted it, I think, and then he went and docked there. So all my plan was like completely awful. And you know, when you are HRE and you feel you are behind, everything is going bad. I think the best you can do is just Burgrave and see if it works, right? And I think it mainly worked because he was just spamming units when he should have probably just went to Castle Age with White Tower, right? I think that was his win condition. And for some reason, he was spamming units, which I think was a bad choice. And that's it.
I'm not sure if you noticed, but he was like spamming that King's College with 25 villagers as the game was about to end, and
I mean, I thought
was
something
missing
was
by like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I thought if he's not leaving, he's probably making a landmark. So I was really confused when I eliminated him. I was like, okay, maybe he wasn't going up. But yeah, I think also probably he didn't have the resources to make it earlier, right? I don't think it was a matter of like him sleeping.
It was quite close. Once again, VortiX, congratulations. You're going to be facing off against a familiar face tomorrow. It's going to be up against Lucifer, your brother, who managed to win up against Annotant. Yeah. We're getting a little Battle of the Brothers in. A classic. A good old classic. Are you looking forward to facing off against your brother? I can imagine like it's always tough having to face off against, I'm imagining, practice partner as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's really rough because we practice a lot together, so it's like he knows everything that I'm gonna do. I know everything he's gonna do as well. But his execution when he has a decent matchup is actually close to perfect, right? So it's always hard for me to play against him. I feel I don't do well against his style also, so it's always rough to play him. I think he actually has pretty good score against me, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, it's gonna be rough for sure. All
right, we're still most definitely going to be looking forward to watching that one. once again, Vortex, congratulations, and we'll be seeing
Thank you.
more of you tomorrow. Till then, have a good one.
Bye bye. Thank you.